Do you like math?
Depends. I like problem-solving math, but
Alright. So you like math in general, but do you like math in the classroom?
unfortunately, no, I don't like the math in the classroom environment. For me, math, I like to be able to problem solve and use what I know, but yet not just be given what you need to know and then just directly apply that. I want to indirectly apply it and use other things I know, like instead of doing repetitions and just repeating things.
What do you dislike about math?
Math is so tedious. When a teacher gives me math homework, I may appreciate the concept behind the math, but I'm not going to do it because it's doing the same things over and over and over again. You're basically being a calculator. You're doing something Microsoft Excel could do for you.
How do you feel about math homework?
I never have done math homework ever in my life, ever.
And why is that?
It's just not fun. It's like when your mom says clean your room and cut the grass, you just don't want to do it because it's work. Right? It's the same thing as in math homework. Right?
Why do so many people hate mathematics?
Very good question. I think there are several reasons. The problem is multidimensional, no pun intended. Imagine that you had to take an art class in which you were taught only how to paint a fence or a wall, but were never shown the paintings of the great masters. Would that make you an art lover? Years later, you will talk to your friends and say, "Oh my gosh, I hated art at school. I was so bad at it." What you would really be saying is, "I was bad at painting the fence." And likewise with mathematics, people often say, "Oh, I was so bad at math, I hate math." But what they are really saying is, "I was bad at painting the fence."
What I really hate when I'm in math class is when they give me a sheet of 30 of the same question except with different numbers, and I have to do the same thing 30 times. It's just really tedious and I hate it, and that's the reason I don't do my math homework, and that's the reason I got like 50% on my math tests.
Okay. So do you think there's room for improvement in the math curriculum?
Yeah, I definitely think there's room for. Actually, it would be great if there was a shift of focus from repetition and practice to an understanding, a deeper understanding of the formulas and the way they're derived, because that's the interesting part of math. I hate math, but I really appreciate that part of math, and I kind of feel that we should let Excel do we should let something like Microsoft Excel do the repetition part, and if you let students figure out math further on their own, with the formulas and everything, except doing the same thing over and over again, more people would appreciate math. But you're kind of taking out the practice makes perfect part of it, so I'm not necessarily sure if that's an improvement.
Do you think the classroom math is properly cultivating students' interest in math?
Considering I don't want to go to math class, considering I'm skipping math class right now to do this interview, no, not really.
In 5th grade, my math class studied number patterns. We looked at sequences whose increments were sequences, and in my own exploration, I found Pascal's triangle. While young students like me had not yet practiced math to proficiency, all of us were born curious about the world around us and explored in our own way. Unfortunately, many of us eventually shy away from classroom math in sight of loads of seemingly pointless work. If it is our goal to cultivate our natural curiosity, as Gauss once said, truth of this kind should be drawn from notion rather than from notations. Math is the beautiful language of the fundamental nature of the universe, but its learning demands hard work with painstaking practice. Is it possible that students learn to both exercise and appreciate mathematics? To help me answer this question, I interviewed experienced UTS math and computer science teacher, Mr. Sergey Yanin, for some insight on the matter.
So most students take almost all of the math courses available, which teach strategies for applying formulae and encourage repetition, all which seem rather dull and uninteresting. Is there anything interesting to students in the current math and computer science courses?
First of all, there is nothing wrong with doing some repetitive work. If it's considered as a method, of establishing procedure in students' heads. And there are a lot of sayings about repetition. For example, I prefer that repetition is the mother of education. You have to do some repetitive tasks. Or, how do you call it? Practice makes perfect.
Right.
You see, the question is what's based on. There is a way to make any course interesting, computer science or math. Most important thing is to understand that we are not solving real problems. We are playing with models, the small ones, the simple ones. We are not playing in a world of real, so-called real life. Something simple. Students don't know yet. But one problem, another problem, third problem, fourth problem, just to show the models of thinking. And then when the repetition goes above it, there is nothing wrong about it.
So is repetition as the primary teaching method missing key learning elements?
Again, it really depends how it's introduced. Everything, from my point of view, everything should start with stating a problem. I'll give you something opposite. For example, from my point of view, it's wrong to say, okay guys, today we'll start learning trigonometry. Sine is this, cosine is this, tangent of this, and we go. That is wrong, because at this moment you lose the reason why we do that. A little story about what kind of problems were in the past which were solved using this, I don't know, trigonometry. What led to introduction to sine and cosine? Or in another thing, I don't know, probability theory, for example. We don't start with probability. Otherwise you say, okay, probability is this divided by this. Why? How did it appear? We start with describing games, describing chances. Something playing with intuition. That's make it interesting.
Right. So what is your favorite piece of mathematics?
At university, it was what? 25 years ago. I really liked differential equations and probability theory. Because these two fields being emerged, they really led to description, the construction of so-called real models. And they're very close to the field of theoretical physics, by the way. As a school subject, which I'm right now in, I really like something in the middle school level. For example, arithmetical methods of problem solving. I really like to make a link between something simple and what it leads to. Like for example, right now, let's say in calculus, you are learning about what? Derivatives, maybe something about integrals.
Right.
But at this level, we are that close to something, to so-called real models of physics. I don't know, not only free fall, but fall in the air, or motion on the water, or any kind of viscous liquid. That close, and that's what makes it really interesting. And that's probably would be it. Oh, in computer science, it would be this. In computer science, we are not actually even close to the difficult problems of database or artificial intelligence. But at a certain level, we are very close to creating a little game, childish one, but something you would feel how it works.
Right, like Tetris.
That's right, something. And just you lead the student through all the steps, and it is not the student who learns something. It's, oh my gosh, it is within the reach.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's kind of about giving students this problem to work with, that is making Tetris, for example, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the next question would be, what kind of classroom environment would interest students to pursue the maths and fundamental sciences?
Well, first of all, the goal of mathematics in the school curriculum is not to move someone into the field. It would be really, really rewarding to see that certain, like a majority, let's say, or a large part of students go into the field. But it is not the goal, because we are all classroom teachers, right? We want to establish some, we want to give some level of general education.
Knowledge, right?
Let's say to everyone. I don't like this phrase, but as much as possible. What kind of environment would lead students to the field? Well, first of all, it must be a selection process, because it is not only what teachers do. It's also a certain desire of a student. You cannot simply take only those who can handle the curriculum. Because out of those, there are a lot who are capable but not interested. There must be a curriculum and the interest of the students. Only in this ideal situation, something can merge. However, it is only in an ideal. All my teaching experience shows that teaching as the process never goes well. You never reach ideal result. Something goes wrong all the time.
Right. Okay. So what would this kind of classroom environment look like?
It would look like this. Given available tools, grade 8, this is these tools, grade 9, these tools, grade 10, these tools. At any moment of time, given available tools, solve difficult problems.
Right.
For example, I'll give you an example. After being explained a certain type of problems, students, let's say, are given 5 questions. If they come back with solution of 2, it's considered a good result.
Right.
If they come back with solution of 5, it's very good, but it's never enough. And do you understand? The teacher is never satisfied with student performance.
Right. So it sounds like, as far as test results go, if you get 2 out of 5, that's kind of terrible. So it looks like kind of a challenge to implement this kind of classroom. What are these challenges of implementing this kind of classroom that hold it back?
As I was saying, it is total change of relation of a teacher and a student.
Right.
And students. Right now, it is we as teachers want students to succeed. The question is, what is success? Passing a test, I can gladly give you like 20 repetitive tasks. You do all of them, they give you 100%, the end of the story.
Right.
My life is easy because the entire classroom will pass. Your life is boring, which refers to the beginning of the conversation. In this kind of environment, where you have selected kids, not the smartest one, those who willingly agree to work. There will be a lot of interesting things. There will be a lot of failures. Not as failing the course, as in the process. Overall, a lot of situations when you find yourself that you're not able to do something.
Right.
And the other thing is, at the end of the year or the end of the course, the assessment will be very, very subjective, up to a teacher.
Right.
And as I said, it is total change of relation between student and teacher. It is not that the teacher is kind of holding
Pulling the
Teacher
hammer through the
allows
wood.
you to
Allows you to
make those
feel
mistakes.
yes.
And if you say, oh, I made a mistake, it's not interesting for me, it is total change of attitude. It is not kind of making mistake is part of it, not intentional, but
It's
part
inevitable.
of the process.
Right.
And in the end, a student and a teacher kind of together arrive to a certain mark, both agreed.
Right.
With both agreed, and in a good sense, teacher is never satisfied with student performance.
Of course. So you can say that one of the problems is that there's this fear of failure, both by the system and by the students, at every step of the way, which holds the system back because actual learning requires failure as part of the process.
I wouldn't say it requires, but it
It's
is
inevitable.
It is. I don't know. Again, it's not a requirement. It's not intentional, but in a good sense, you cannot avoid it.
Right.
You should be ready to fail from time to time.
Of course.
As I was saying to the students, and it's really a shock to, let's say, at once, when I say our goal is to bring well-balanced people, well-balanced, those who know how to deal with success and failure.